Welcome to Lanisha's Life Lessons in Lattes. I am your host and the creator, Lanisha Porter, also the author of Maximizing Her, which is a book predicated on which this show is predicated. We are discussing the themes of life, tradition, legacy, love, womanhood, and manhood. As you can see, this book has been in the background throughout all of the shows, and I absolutely love this book. What I love most about being able to design and create this book was just being in every single detail and being intentional about every part of execution. Of course, photography was a big part of that. You have to choose a brilliant cover for a book that you want to sell. And so I am very happy and privileged to have Louisville's very own, who actually shot the beautiful cover for this book, my second book, Mr. Terrence Humphrey here with us. I am such a fan of his work. He's done about 3 or 4 shoots for me. All brilliant. So he's going to be here discussing with us chapter 5, which is the Dutiful Shift of Now. Welcome to the show, Terrence.
Hey, glad to be here.
Yeah. So he said as we were setting up, he's like, I'm usually behind the camera. I'm never really in front of the camera. How does that feel for you today?
Nerve-wracking.
It's nerve-wracking?
Yeah, I see why people I'm nervous. I never understood, why are you nervous? Why are you nervous? Like, I'm good at what I do, so why are you nervous? So
yeah,
you good at what you do, so why am I nervous?
Right.
The mirror is definitely flipped on me.
Yeah.
But I'm happy, but I'm excited about it.
I'm excited that you accepted the invitation. First, let me say, I asked him to do this episode because we did a shoot this summer back in July. One of my favorite shoots to date. It's actually, I'll just show you guys the picture so the picture speaks for itself. So brilliant work. But after the shoot wrapped up, me and Terrence were having a conversation with some friends, and he shared some sentiments with me that I think that all brilliant people go through when they're leaving their mark and they're finding their footing. The Dutiful Shift of Now. When I wrote The Dutiful Shift of Now, people might read that chapter and say, what do you mean the Dutiful Shift of Now? My intention behind that was saying that everybody with their life shift, they have the moral obligation to do the important work that unlocks doors that the next generation can benefit from. It's all about earning those generational blessings so that the next generation can have those liberties and those freedoms. I really think it's super important. So everything that you shared went right into that. Let's go ahead and get right into it, Terrence.
All right.
I have to ask you, you spoke so passionately about your craft and your work and your profession. My question to you is, how difficult is it to find your footing professionally?
Professionally, the word is difficult.
Yeah.
Because it's a series of events.
Mm-hmm.
There's no going viral with professionalism. There's no a big jump for it. There's work behind it, and it's days and nights and weeks and months and years of just work.
Right.
And so that's the hard part. But like I said, there are peaks and valleys.
Mm-hmm.
When the peaks are good, the valley, you really don't really know how dark it really, how deep the valley was, because you just look back and be like, this is what I wanted in the first place, and I got there. So all that really just kind of just goes over the shoulder. Like, I don't care about it no more, because it was worth it. I'm here. So bringing all that together, that really that's what you work for.
Yeah.
And once you get it, once you find a little taste of success, you realize, you've done the work for it. You realize, I can do it again. You can do it again, and turn it into a lifetime. You turn it into a professional, and you turn it into your profession.
Right.
And that's what's really motivating me, and because that's what, and doing that compared to just working a mundane job to stay afloat. When you do the work, you get paid, and you do the work again, you get paid. Like, you don't get paid more, you get paid the same. And it's doing that again, it's not draining. It depends on the person you are, because some people find comfortability. I'm comfortable, I'm level, I'm consistent.
Right.
That's fine. I know I've done it for years, and but at the same time, but on the back end of that was my profession, and I literally seen it's like a graph, it's going up and down. But even when I'm up, and whenever when I'm down, I look back and say, I've been lower than this before.
Yeah.
So I know I can climb back up. So that's all. So that's the whole process of it all. Is in like it's an up and down. Would you rather have a straight line, or would you rather have peaks and valleys? So like I chose peaks and valleys. I'm not mad about it.
Right.
The valleys are deep, the peaks are high. I'm okay with that.
That's beautiful. I love what you said, peaks and valleys, and you go through those things, and really what powers you to keep going is just really believing in yourself and believing in your craft and believing that one day you're gonna peak. Like it's gonna happen for you. I also heard you say that it's a series of events. You go through. How many pictures do you take before that one picture just really takes it off, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's probably your thought process. But let's get a little bit deeper into it. In terms of photography, what are the lows of photography? What are the highs? Let's start with the lows first. Like, what does it really look like? I know people just come and get their pictures taken, and then they're probably emailing you like, Terrence, when do I get it back?
Right.
I've been guilty of it myself. Sorry for that. But what are the lows?
The lows of photography, they're like, that's a long list. But like I said, the peaks of it are so high, you don't care with the long list. But let's go like the top three.
Okay.
Top three are like when losing your work. It's not like it's literally sending like you wrote a whole book and it goes in the shredder.
Yeah.
It would feel that same. Like my hard drive crashed at least twice in my professional career, and I lost that year's work.
Wow.
It hurts.
Yeah.
Like all you know is I can take more, but at the same time, all that work is gone. If you didn't post it nowhere, you put it on Facebook, it's gone. You'll never see it again. Mm-hmm. And it's like that's horrible, and it hurts you. So that's probably the lowest as it comes like definitely digital work, photography wise. Other than that, I would say business expenses, insurance on things, just when things break. It's all machines, so they break down, they get old. You have to buy new, you have to keep up with it. Sometimes it's exciting, you get to buy new things, but at the same time, the new things aren't cheap, and you have to dip into savings and stuff like that to get the new stuff. Even if you do, what's it called? Like it just that it's all financial, as in like you're paying it forward, as in I'm gonna spend whatever $2,500 on the camera. If I made whatever
big boy numbers.
Exactly. So I'm big sense. So it's like if I can make $30,000 in a month on photography. So I'm like, okay, I'll just put 1 month worth of income into one piece of equipment. I'll double it back over the course of the year. Like I'll tenfold it back. You gotta think of it that way, and that's just any business.
Yeah.
The better equipment, the better stuff it is, the more high quality is, the more you get paid for it.
Right.
So again, peaks and valleys. And the rest is just regular storefront business stuff, clientele. You got good customers, you got bad customers, you got customers who just really I don't know, like you'd be surprised how quick somebody can get under your skin. Like, oh, we met for 10 minutes, you already we're not gonna work out this way. and going professionally a different way, telling the client like you need somebody else. Like I'm not this.
You've had to do that.
Yeah, because not again as in you need a best friend photographer. I'm not a best friend photographer. Like we can be cool, cordial, but as in like you can't call me late at night asking for pictures. Like don't do that. Yeah. Like know what professionalism is, and I'm not your homeboy, homegirl from whatever different stores and stuff like that. You can just come in, we talk. Like I wouldn't say a barber where you tell them all your deep and dark and secret stuff like that in the chair. I'm really like I would say like if you how close are you to like your dentist or like your doctor? I think you come to them very professional. They'll come to you very professional. You get what you need to get done.
Sometimes
exactly the work is good, so you come back to them. You say you keep it cordial. How you doing? But you don't. What's it called? You don't harass your doctor saying I need my results back. You got the results back. Like that's exactly how I feel. And like there's a process to it all. I'm doing. These tests take time. this process of editing and correcting your pictures take time.
Yes.
And work take time. And when you cut work short, you get low quality picture because the work wasn't good. All the extra details in that picture was overlooked because you're trying to cut time.
Yeah.
And so that goes into effect of all of it. And that's pretty much that's the third worst thing about photography. When people just like they lose what's it called? That concept of work takes time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we will all of say I got great photos back within 24 hours of my big my whatever $1,000 shoot. That's never the case because you see, even with celebrity when they do photo shoot, you see like you may get a glimpse of behind the scene, but you don't see that cover until 5 weeks later or a month later, or it depends. Again, movies a year, 2-3 years later, and they're not harassing the director saying, "When you gonna give me I need this, I need that." I can't do that because if it's not finished, I can't give it to you. So that's all it is. So, but at the same time, I understand the concept of in the digital world, you take a picture, I want to see it now.
Yeah.
I see it all definitely at events. Take a picture. Let me see what it look like. Then that's not the case when it comes to like big photo shoots and stuff like that. you can see it as in you're part of the process, but as a part of the process of making it and doing all the behind the scenes stuff, that's my job.
Right.
So that's so you don't want nobody rushing you on your job.
Right.
So that's what it comes down to.
I can tell just by your response how attached and how connected and how much you really care about your work. And I really think that it's those details that set someone apart from being good and then being great. And you are great. I don't think I can express that enough.
Thank you.
Very welcome. My question to you, what have been some of the extraordinary highs of photography for you and just the work that you've been able to complete?
When I graduated from Eastern in 15, and so even Eastern, I got a camera in December 2011.
Okay.
So I'm like, that's my so I came back that spring, like all spring they started warming up. I take a whole bunch of pictures on campus. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I'm like, just take a picture of every little thing on campus, and then all of a sudden I'm seeing that like the photographer for the university. I'm like, hey, I like what you're doing. How do I do that and get paid to do it? And you're like, oh yeah, so just apply for it. You'll get it. We're kind of short on staff. I'm like, oh, cool. Okay. Like applied it and started like that following spring, as in like I'm following that next fall. So I'm like, oh, now I'm a student photographer. I'm professionally working for my university. I'm on a website and stuff like that. And like seeing it, so I'm like, wow, I know it's not a macrocosm of the real world. You don't just apply for job, you going to get it, and all of a sudden you hit the ground running, like I said. But it definitely was the first thing, as in like this was meant to be. Obviously, if it was 20, if it was waiting lists and all this, I probably wouldn't have done it. I probably wouldn't worried about it, do my own thing. But as in that was the first press. That was the first thing. As in, here, this is what's made for you. Take it.
Yeah.
That you saw it, like you sought after it, and it sought you back, like that. So like as in it perfect. So that's what really like, okay, I might have to take this seriously. And after that, I really did. And when I graduated, I was like, all right. Now I had to buy my own camera. I had to get all my camera equipment back then. I'm like, okay, I got my own camera. So when I bought that, I just emailed like all the magazines and publications in the city. I'm like, I'll do anything for free. Just put my name in there. Like just put my name. I just need to be published. I need to be recognized that I'm professional at this level. And so that was, and I got an internship with Louisville Magazine. I'm walking around fresh out of college with an internship to like a little my city publication. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, and all these steps that as in, no one really kind of pushed for. There was no guidance, as in, this is what I want. I figured out. It's really casting big net. Like, let me just push all this, like applying for a whole bunch of jobs. Like, I need a job. I'm applying a whole bunch of jobs. But so that was a big thing for me, as in like, I got a what's it called? I got a photography job now out of college, doing what I like to. Not very many people can say that, as in they got a job doing what they want in college, then graduate and get the same job after college. Like, this might be meant to be. This might be for me then. So that was so doing that and just constantly. So getting my work in magazines every month or whatever, just doing little assignments here and there, and like then got 2 covers. I'm like, cool. I'm on covers of the magazine.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here I'm only like 2 years into photography. Like this may be my thing then. Like if anything else popped up, it would have came up by now. But this is the highest thing I'm going right now. So that just really just boosted my career. Like it boosted my like self-esteem with it, because I'm like, this is definitely after graduation, people just kind of just doing jobs to maintain to get money in their pocket. I said, I'm doing it out of love, and I'm getting money in my pocket, and I'm at this professional level already. So that was the big point. Never since then, it just been constant, like the constant work, as in having clientele who just come back to me every year, every month, every so often, every time they get a new book published, something like that. So something like that. So like having that network of people around you, building that network of people around you has been the best part of it. As in, I can go to somebody, I'm doing work for them, but at the same time, with understanding enough that we're both at this level of building. We're all young, we're all like 20, 30, whatever, we're building. So you have to build your own network. You have to build your own city inside your own city, and your own world inside your own world. So stuff like that is because if you don't, someone else is gonna build it for you. Now you're just in this world that you didn't have no control over. You had nothing, but you can. So all the while you're still putting puzzle pieces together, people and networking businesses and all. So making sure that the picture that you want it to be. And that's been the best part of just, again, the best part is the ups and downs of it all. And that's what I'm really happy about. That's why I enjoy every day of it.
Yeah.
So
that was wonderful. So what I'm hearing is you've had some extraordinary highs from, there's a book and it's called The Alchemist. I think it's Paulo Coelho. Hope I'm saying that right. Don't drag me if I'm not. But in the book, it says something to the effect of the world will conspire and rise up to meet you as you achieve your personal legend. And to me, that's kind of what I heard you said. Right. I was kind of flirting with photography, but then there were real doors opening for me. If you could just go back and tell me, what was it like the first time you got paid for it? Like, what did that feeling feel like? Like, wow, I'm doing something that I love and it's work, but it doesn't feel like work. Yeah. And like, I can get paid for this. How was that feeling for you?
Like I said, I was the campus photographer. People always say I was an unofficial campus photographer. I was literally just all the pictures of you see, like your people, like your parents, and like in the 70s, and then all around campus dressed all crazy. I was the guy taking them pictures. Definitely for like the early like in the 2010, 2013 and stuff. Like I was the guy taking them pictures. Like so that where my confidence came from. As in, if I need a picture, I'll come to you. Like I'm becoming a monopoly on this college campus. Like I said, I'm the only one here. So like all of a sudden this this network of money was coming straight to me and only me, because I'm the only one with the camera and only one got the eye for it. And so I'm like, definitely now, as in,
you had it unlocked.
Yeah, exactly. So it's in just because now everyone and their mama got a camera now. Definitely, I couldn't imagine what it's like to be a photographer on a college campus now.
Yeah.
But as in back then, where you had to contact 3 people to find somebody with a camera, like. Because you had some people who had like little point and shoots and other things, but as in a whole digital college backpack full of crazy camera equipment. Said, how many people do you know got that? Definitely on your sophomore in college, like I need some professional pictures for some little doing homecoming queen, stuff like that. I was doing them. So I'm like, I'm not. But as in the first time I get paid for it, I wouldn't say the first, because again, when I first started, I'm doing stuff for. I was always scared to charge a whole lot, like because I was like, I'm young, like I'm literally pressing this button, hoping that you like it. And that's what I'm doing every time I take a picture. Like, please like the picture. You like take a picture, you like it. Oh yeah, it's fine. Like you didn't like it, take nothing. I like that, cool. And so doing working and working.
It's so dope, you guys.
No. So like that, like I said, but at the same time, the confidence came with it. Like, you know what, like. I'm gonna say this number, and and when they start saying, "Yeah, you deserve it," like, here you go. Oh, that's when like, oh well, you know what, that's when again the confidence come behind the income of it all. Like, you know, I'm good at this, and not that I'm just good at it. I'm not even compete with nobody. Like, I'm good at it, and I don't have no competition. So I'm like, it wasn't no effect. That's motivated me because I don't want just I don't want just my campus. I want other campus around me to be. I want to take over I want to do this. So I'm sitting here back in like 2000. Like I wrote it down somewhere. Like one of my little notebooks I always had. It was just I think I wrote it down. Like I'm become like Kentucky's best photographer like 2013. I'm like man, why would I aim that high? Like for knowing I'm sitting here, I'm not even in. I'm in Richmond, Kentucky. Like I'm gonna be the best photographer somehow, some way next year. I'm like, how you gonna be number one, compete with professionals all around the state? Like I said, but that's how confident I had. Because again, for in a year and a half, I became the photographer for this group of people, for this campus of people. Like I said, knowing that a campus is just a microcosm of like a city. So I'm like, if I can do that for a city, then I, like I said, take this topic, all I'm doing, like go to different groups of people, do work for them, you network between them, their group of people. Like I said, it's all like methodical overall. Like I said, if I do that, if I go to Louisville and do that, I'll be good. If I go to Louisville, I go to Lexington, if I go do some trip down to Bowling Green, I'll be number one. I'll be number one in the state by at least give me 2 years. I'll be number one in the state. Like, but it didn't work out that like at the same time. Like, but there are very few things that I was that much confident in. Like, as in, I played football, I played on my sport, but I never thought I'd be number one in nothing. Yeah. Like, they're always gonna be NFL draft picks every year. Like, I'm never gonna be one of them. But as in, I'm be number one in the state just because because of the work I've done already. Like, that was just a really eye-opening experience for me. As in, incredible confidence coming from me and the potential that I see in that's the first time I've seen no high potential in myself, and that always kept me going. Like, yeah, I aimed a little too high then, but it's fine now. I gotta get a bit more realistic. But I'm not pulling back on the confidence level. I'm pulling back on the realistic level of it. So I'm gonna keep the confidence level there. Like the whole idea of like being this greatest photographer in Kentucky history and can decide to network and what. Because I wasn't thinking too big. I'm not gonna go to New York and be number one up there and be a whole bunch of fashion man. I'm not gonna do that. I can't afford all like camera equipment. Like, I'm broke. But you know what I can do? I can control this network, and that's what my goal was. And like same time, now, like I said, I got my. It's not a numbers game. There's no ranking to it all. But as in, there is a ranking to it all. People know class system. As in, the cameraman at a club with the little backdrop thing, like I said, doing all I said, he just doing it for the money. He just got a little camera equipment. Then other photographers who got their own studio and get published in magazines. Those are two different classes of photography. I know. I see what you mean. Exactly. So I know that I'm in this class, and I know I'm above this level. I'm above this level. I got this much years experience. I've been published this many times. Like I said, okay, that means I'm at this critique. I'm at this level. At this, I can go a little bit higher. I can go a little bit higher. So it's just setting goals for yourself and stuff like that. So that would really kind of motivated me to go. I don't even know what the question was. But no. Yeah.
First of all, you took it in a way that's great. Yeah. Okay, so I just want to say, when you're planning these episodes as like the writer of the show, you're like, what question? I know the ideas that I want to put out there and push to the world, but what questions will push a person's buttons to help them give me that answer? Yeah. And you did it. Like, the whole idea of the show, I think just in your response really showed how hard it is to win. Winning is not just something that you dream about. Mm-hmm. Dreaming is the first step. You do have to have a vision, mm-hmm. but there's real work. There's real formulas that have to be put in place for you to win. It's strategic, yeah. and it's intentional. Mm-hmm. And I love that you said that. I know for me, the first time that the light bulb went off in my head, like, girl, you can get paid for your passions. Mm-hmm. I will never forget, it was my first book, Things I Never Talk About. Mm-hmm. And the publisher, he just kept telling me, he said, pre-orders. That's where your money's gonna come from, pre-orders. And I'm like, that's dumb. You know, I'm speaking out of a non-believer's place because right. I've never done it before. Mm-hmm. So how can that really happen? You know what I mean? He's like, pre-orders, sell the book, get people to buy into your book before it is hard copy. Mm. I'm like, I don't think it's gonna work. So I didn't take his advice. So I didn't have many pre-orders. But at my book signing, Terrence, I will never forget. You know, you put this time and you invest, and you're like, I hope people like it. You get the book cover done, you do the writing, you do the posting on social media, and that's vulnerable to expose yourself and put yourself out there and let people know you have this dream. But you know, I remember my book signing. I did it. I didn't know how it was going to turn out, and I will never forget. I made like $1,500 in 2 hours, and that's when it went off for me. Like, what? Yeah. I was working 2 jobs. Exactly. I was at McDonald's. I had my law internship in high school, and I was running myself into the ground. And I appreciate that experience because that built for me ground level fundamentals, you know, professionalism, how to talk to people, how to work with people, how to have a good attitude even when you don't feel like having a good attitude, how to deal with customers. And you learn those things about, you know, if I want to go on spring break trips, then I need to work this many hours this week. You learn those things, and that's good. But it doesn't light the same fire as when you're doing something you're passionate about. Right. Exactly. So when I got cued in on the fact that you can literally support yourself and make a living off of doing the things that you're talented and you have a skill set for, I was like, I'm never going back. Right. I'm never going back. I have to get strategic about book sales. I have to figure out marketing. I have to figure out my networks. Where can I go speak to push this book? How can I bring this book to life outside of people just reading it? Can I do audiobooks? Can I do a show so people can really understand the chapters before reading the book? And when you do that, to me, that kind of cues me in on the fact that you're passionate. Like when I see people being creative about their work, it's like, okay, that's passion, that's powering that. You know, you don't just do that for fun. Nobody is just doing this. Some people do it for fun, but there are so many lows and there are so many doubts and there are so many adversities that's going to smack you dead in the face. If you don't have that passion, it's easy to say, I'm done. I'm not flirting with this no more. Exactly. So I think you kind of answered this question, but again, I will ask, how does one power their dream with mounting adversity on their back? So what can you tell someone, maybe a young professional starting out, or even just how you have kept yourself motivated when there were days where you're just like, something else might have to support the ship because photography isn't it today. I don't feel like it today. Of course. I mean, that's literally my life. Because again, I work, I always tell people I had a job. Like I drove a forklift for like 3 years. And that was, I stopped doing that this year. So I'm like, so I would tell people I had a part-time job. I was a part-time forklift driver, and I was a full-time photographer. Like I had 2 jobs. But the thing is, it's not the fact that, like I said, it's not gonna happen easy. So once you realize this is hard, just accept it. As in, this is going to be hard. This is going to be a hard class. This is going to be a hard month, a hard year. Like I'm appreciate the little thing that goes right, the little thing that I can do right, the little thing that people do right by me. I'm appreciate everything they're giving to me. In the meantime, I'm gonna have to work, and that's a hard pill that a lot of people to swallow. Definitely at young people, as in for so long, people just give you so much potential in you. Once that stops, as in, it's not potential what you can do. What did you do? And you just realize. That's good, Terrence. Exactly. So you just like realize, man, so ain't nobody giving me a job. They don't see that I can work. They don't know. They don't see your work, mate. So you got to put your own work in. Yeah. And that just really, once you realize that cut out a lot. And so that when you start shooting just to shoot, as in you're just doing photo shoots just to build up a portfolio to impress people that can pay you. What did that cost to do that photo shoot? The book people said it cost you more than you got paid in the last couple months. So like I said, you do that stuff, you're like, but again, it's your work. So it goes all these factors that goes into that you put together, that you made. So creating a mood board and creating and literally hiring a creative director or a stylist, because you try to do it yourself, and like, and it looked like I did it sometimes, but I wanted to look like
40 people put all that together, and all 40 of the best people put it all together, but you got to pay all these people.
Yeah.
And all that goes into effect, as in, like, I'm putting, I'm putting last 3 weeks a month, money that I had income, I'm putting toward this one or two jobs to impress somebody over here that can pay me 4 times what I just got paid over last month, or something like that. And that's just like, and it might not even be one person. I'm doing it to impress 10 people that can pay me each time, like I said. And that's the goal of it. All definitely as an entrepreneur in the creative field. Because that's the thing, when it comes to, because it's easier to hire someone that can do a job. It's hard to hire someone that can make it creative. So that's and that's one thing that always somebody I don't know who was it. I'm trying to think who told me it, as in definitely out of college, as in, or even not even going to college, as in, why should I hire? Yeah, that's what it was. Mr. Andrew, he's a photographer, and he was telling me, as in, do the boring work, do the boring shoots. You like, why? He said, because that's what they pay you for. Because they can. He said they didn't hire you because you did the boring shoot. They hired you because you're creative to do this boring job. So that's what they're paying you for.
Yeah.
As in, they can pay anybody to take a picture of this whatever coffee mug.
Yeah.
Saying, but I need the person who's gonna make the coffee mug, put on a billboard and make it look, make eye popping. So I'm like, so that's what I'm paying. So once you figure that out, then they're not paying me to do the job. They're paying me to be me. Yes. And that's what, as in, so that's what really the beautiful part about it all. But at the same time, it's a hard thing to do. Convince somebody you should pay me to do something that you can't think of, and that challenge people. Like, I can do it myself. I'll just do it myself. That's a mind state that a lot of us are in. I'll just do it myself, and that's cool. But at the same time, like me, I can't do makeup. Yeah, I can try. I can get on YouTube, watch a whole bunch. So I can do that, and it will be add to my repertoire. But at the same time, there's someone who's been doing it for years, who's been doing the same, who's been doing makeup as long as I've been doing photography, and they will have to. So just like they came to me to get they want pictures of their makeup. They didn't like, well, I can just buy my own camera. No, we build off each other. And that's how you build a network. Yeah. So it's not me being lazy. It's me literally focusing on what I need to do, and that's all. Again, that's how a company runs. As in, a whole bunch of people doing their job very well, and if they can't do it, they'll pay somebody. They'll outsource to somebody who can do it well and bring them in. And that's what you want to be. I want to be that person that we had 20 people put together, and we just need some, and we all can figure it out. So we brought you in, and we're gonna pay you amount this much to do it. And like, cool. So. That's what it really comes down to, and that's what you really, and that's the hard part. Definitely in today's climate, as in, it's all about collaboration, all about networking. Like, it's not even about collaboration, about networking. Yeah. So like, it's not about who you know, what you know, and all that goes in effect. But as in, you need to know, really, just taking, what I lost train of thought.
It's okay. One thing I will say, maybe you can find your train of thought is. I think we do live in this culture because Forbes puts out this list about self-made millionaires, billionaires, and that is so false leading. It's misleading because nobody on God's green earth is self-made. Every single person, to some degree, has made it or has been successful because they have been propped up by someone else's generosity or someone else has taken an interest in them. No one makes it on their own. And I think that can be very, what I mean to say is I don't think there's enough motivation that one can have. I don't think there's enough talent that one can have that can those things alone just propel you into success. Right. It's a matter of networking and those networkings literally launching you into that place that you want to be. That's why it's so important to network. When I was in high school in my law program, our director always told us network. And I'm an introvert. Yeah. So, which might be hard for people to believe, but I'm very much to myself. And I was like, but I don't want to network. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to bypass this whole needing to network thing by just making things happen on my own.
Mm-hmm.
But boy, was I fooling myself.
Yeah,
you don't make anything move in this world on your own. You are dependent upon someone else. I would not have a brilliant book cover if it weren't for you.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have the makeup for the book cover if it wasn't for Alicia, who did my makeup that day. Literally, that dress was borrowed from my sister friend who is a designer, Aye Kaluba. So no one, it's a move. Success has moving parts.
Mm-hmm.
And I think also you made a really good point when you get into the expenses of it all. Mm-hmm. That can be very discouraging.
Exactly.
That can be super discouraging when you are a broke college student or you're starting out and the capital is little to none.
Mm-hmm.
And what I, even to myself this day, is like when I look at my budget and when I look at the dream, it's like, we gotta make something shake. It's not, you know?
Yeah.
And I think how I have learned to change it, because it's all about mindset, Terrence.
Of course.
You have to say, instead of saying that this is a bill, you have to say this is an investment in me getting closer to a peak. Because
Mm-hmm.
like you said, you're not just paying for makeup, you're paying for the makeup that could catch the eye of someone that can pay you far more than what you spent on the makeup.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So you have to have that type of attitude. And when you have that type of attitude, I feel like you will be far more excited
Mm-hmm.
and less fearful to take the plunge into possibility, into
Right.
the sea of possibility.
Correct.
So that's something I've learned too. It's all about mindset. It's all about how you perceive things. Did you find your thought?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, pretty much sums it up
Okay.
for sure. As in, like, just find your network.
Mm-hmm.
As in, that's
Your network.
if you get discouraged, go back to your network, and then go back to people who help get you to where you at, and keep them around you, and you know, definitely the positive people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just, I talked to somebody not too long ago about like, definitely for me, as in, I'm all for people who going in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
And once I see that you go the wrong direction, that just it's not it's all personal choices. We all make bad choices, right, and stuff like that. But at the same time, how many bad choices can you make in a row? I mean, so in the same time, I'm always learning from people, and I always see, and you notice people action and stuff like that. So I need you to, if you keep making constantly good choices, I'm gonna keep being for you. I'm gonna keep whatever you need help with. I'm keeping, because you're still going in a direction. And once I feel that you're all right, yeah, there's 20 bad choices bad in a row, like, I'm gonna let you go that way.
Yeah.
Go this way. That's all I can do for you. And that so as in networking wise, know who's good in your network. And
yes.
Then, like so I'm not saying keep everyone from day one around you. That's not a thing. Like, you can't do it because everybody
can go.
Exactly. So everyone got different directions.
Yeah. What you're saying reminds me of what the good book says, and it tells us two cannot walk together except as they. So when someone is demonstrating those character traits, you should be cautious of it. Mm-hmm. And you know, the first thing I think we want to do, especially when we've grown up with people and we have this long-standing bond, is let me wait it out. Let me see if you'll change.
Mm-hmm.
But that can be very detrimental to the progress you're trying to make. And I think it is always in the utmost interest of your progress and your advancement to be protective over who you allow around you and who you allow in your network, because you want to protect that morale mm-hmm. that, you know, you're working to build with your brand and in your company, and just even in your personal space. You know, you have to protect that. So 1,000% agree with you there.
And that's the thing. Like I said, that's the biggest part of just networking. That's just part of growing up. Keep those people around you. Again, you gonna feel alone. Keep the people mm-hmm. around you that make you don't feel alone, and make you feel that it's okay to be. It's going to be hard. We all know it's hard. We won't stay around you while it's hard. Exactly, and that's the biggest thing about just the whole creative world. And that's just life and period.
And you know, talking to you that day, I believe it was July 27th. I remember the day we shot because it was one of my friend's birthdays, mm-hmm. and actually talking to you during that conversation motivated me, because I think especially in this world of digital citizenship, right? I learned that from a panel I just did. That's a thing, digital citizenship. That's crazy. But in the online world, you know, people get to curate for you the experience that they're living. And it looks like everyone has it figured out. They have their footing firm. And so you'll look at yourself and the real things that you're going through, your peaks and your valleys, and you'll say, well, I'm having far more valley time than this girl. She's peaking, or this person's peaking, and I started before them. And I know, first of all, I'm far more indebted. Like, I spent this much on consulting and marketing, and why am I not getting the freaking results? You know, you'll get to that space. But when I talk to you and just the esteem that I hold you in as like one of the best photographers I know, and you were just sharing with me like some of the real frustrations of being dedicated and committed to your brand, I was like, oh my goodness, this is normal.
Yeah.
Like, this is normal. Like, everyone has that fear of like, yes, I need to invest in better equipment, but my paycheck isn't looking like it's going to support it. Or everyone has those fears of, is time getting away from me? Am I spending too much time being developed, you know, because I'm not nearly getting as much stage time to perform, you know, in the sense. All right, Terrence, what blessings or freedoms do you hope to earn for your children with your life's work?
I want my kids to, the goal is, just have one, to know that I love them. And, just like know that everything I did was like the life that they live in, it wasn't because of my selfishness or the thing I did just for me. I did it all for them. And so just because I only know that because of my parents. Like, they told me like the life they lived and stuff like that, but at the same time, once I was there, everything got more methodical and everything they did. Like, they didn't act the same way they did. Like, we was cool, or when they did, it was just like, we're gonna go out of town and do this. Like, something like cool, like, but at the same time, and what they were like, what you should model is like, just model our actions that that we love doing. And so, like, we're gonna go work every day, model that, like I said, follow that. He said, the side jobs that we do, we're gonna make sure that we still come to all your events and still have time for you. It's like, so that's what it was. And whenever, like, and that's what I want my kid to see. Of course, I want them to be just full out, just not worry about. I want them to understand money and understand that that's what my parents did for me. As in, we're gonna give you what you need, and the term need is thrown around in like the water and bread. Like, I can give you just food and a whole bunch of places to sleep at night. I said, but I'm gonna give you what you need to be successful, and that's what I hold my parents to. Because I really did want to be a photographer. It wasn't from my parents. It went from like my mom. She had a camera at first, and I shot with her camera a lot until she bought me my own camera. And I went to EKU, started to do that, tell that story. And when I graduated, and I'm like, I need to buy my own camera. And my dad said, I'll buy your first camera for you. So I'm like, so the camera that I shot you with, that was my dad that he bought for me. So he didn't help me. He didn't book jobs for me. He didn't do that for me. He didn't just here's the position for you. You'll be successful in the position. And no, you're gonna do all of that. I'm literally gonna buy you a tool to do it. And it's like, so to the point now, I can buy my own camera. And so that's the thing that's the type of thing that you can't really pay back. As in, I can physically pay. I can pay back for this camera, but as in like what you did, what the fold that you got it for me, like the way it multiplied itself. I can't pay you back for that because that's everything I got. But that's literally everything I have is because of what you bought me in the first. And once you that's the one thing about being a parent. You got to realize, what should I put my money into my kids? And like I said, what is it that they need? Like, what is it that I can send them? I can pay $5,000 to a basketball camp, but after high school, he ain't gonna play basketball no more. Like I said, so what other money can I put aside? What tool can I get him have it? So, like, what tool can I make sure that he can use the tool for the rest of his life? And that's what I want my kids to know, and that's what I want to learn from my kids. That's the only thing. That's the only interaction, as in other than like love and just other parenting side. As in, longevity wise. That's the only thing that I want to give from them. That's what I want to take from them. I want to know that they had a purpose.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the most biggest words in my philosophy is purpose. Because purpose is such a hard thing to find. People do not have it. People, once you don't have it, you carry yourself differently. Because I don't know what I'm doing. I know I'm supposed to do these things, but I'm not happy doing these things. I don't want to do these things. I don't even need to do half this stuff. So what am I doing? I'm just living this life, and I don't know what my purpose is. So, and that's what, and once my parents figured out my purpose, they were like, all right, here, we're going to give you tools. We're going to give you confidence. We're going to just keep you, we're going to keep you in the conversation. So, that's what I want for my kid to know, that my purpose, and the thing about it, my purpose isn't your purpose. My dad's a teacher, my mom's a banker. Like I said, nothing got to do with photography, nothing got to do with creativity at all in the creative world. Like I said, so, but they knew that they knew that all the work they had to do was getting to know me, to know well enough to know that I put me in the field I could succeed in. Yeah. And that's what I really want for my kids. Once you give them that, that's all you can do, and make sure that they just regular good human beings, and that's all you can really ask for. And then that's one thing I really like about photography, as in, you seen what I seen, and that's what I always take it as in, if you know nothing about me at all, if my kids know nothing about me, they've seen what I seen, and not very many parents can say that, not about where I've been and who I knew, but you really seen what my eyes have seen. How many people can say that? I seen what my father's seen with his own eyes, and and that's just really a big thing I love to say out loud, and about just about legacy and all that. Like I said, but even with legacy, you get to see what I seen, and my kids can see that forever, because they got books now.
You got books. So, exactly. Yeah, you preserved your legacy in the lives of so many different people. So one thing your kids will definitely see is what you've seen in your lifetime through your own eyes. Exactly. Especially when you get into the protest and the movement that you've been able to capture. You've caught some really great and historic shots, I would imagine. Of course. And I was like I said, I worked my other job during the heat of the summer and stuff like that. So I didn't see the nighttime. I see the little Saturday morning stuff like that. So I didn't get the real nitty gritty of it all. So I didn't get that. But I got the regular little big protests, stuff like that. So, but at the same time, I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful for the people who recognize that, and so I'm happy about that though. Yeah. That's really powerful. I don't know if you understand. Well, I'm sure you get how powerful it is, but that's legacy in the making, and the fact that you're consciously aware of that makes it even more beautiful and powerful to me. Yeah, of course. Like I said, so even family pictures mean more to me. More, I don't know. So you see, you never really understand or recognize who took this picture. Maybe you and your mama on a park bench or whatever, who took that picture. I don't know, I don't care, it's me and my mom, but that's important, because that's what someone's seen in that very moment, and that's a part of that memory, so that's a big part of that. So if I take 1,000 pictures of my kids, I'm not in them, it's going to be just important, because I took it, they seen what I seen in that very moment. Woo! Powerful. I literally have chills. I think if you're the perfect person for this episode, because when I talk about life, tradition, legacy, that's what I mean. That's what I mean when you put it into practice. Someone who's consciously aware that this is your life shift right now. You are getting to live. This is your lifespan. But it's just not, it doesn't belong to you and you alone. Mm-hmm. It's influencing someone else. It will be someone else's picture, someone else's memory, someone else's standard. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So that's very beautiful. Terrence, why is it important for a man to have vision? Well, for me, I need vision so I can do my purpose. But at the same time, a vision for yourself is, without it, you're really lost in this world. You're just waking up every day. Because people always saying, the term is life is short, but it's the longer thing you can do. So without a vision, you can't even see
what's tomorrow going to bring for you, what you have planned for it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just going to go through the day to day, every single day, to a point where it's like you're doing the 5-day, 2-day weekend, 5-day, 2-day weekends. And I know that life, as in, this isn't. I knew it wasn't for me.
Mm-hmm.
So some people like that's what your life is. That's what professional life is. That's what adult life is. And I'm like, I get that. I understand that. I appreciate that because my parents did it for me.
Yeah.
I know that it wasn't easy. I'm pretty sure it wasn't easy for them. And it's not easy for anybody, because nobody wants to live life day to day. I want to know that these 3 days of hard work or these 5 days of hard work going to lead to this moment or the big old or vacation, whatever. And that's one thing I really hope for my kids and my generation, that then you, again, setting goals and stuff like that, realistic goals. And one thing about it is that, like I said, life is long, is that it's long enough in which you can start and fail 1,000 times. And so that means, so don't put timestamps or due dates on yourself. There's enough due dates every day to do the 1,000 things that you need to get done today. So, like, demanding wise, so once you start adding due date between time, as in I have to be this type of person at this age, I had to be somebody's parent by this age, I had to be somebody's wife or husband by this age.
Yeah.
All in the meantime, you got 20 other things between, you got 1,000 things between that time. Like I said, you're just chopping it up even smaller pieces, and that's just really hard on yourself, and it's really hard on your spirit. That's where you realize that life is going to put things in front of you at its own pace.
Yeah.
So whatever God had for you, and give it to you when you're ready for it. And it feels like again, you set due date for yourself, and God wasn't even in the room when you wrote that down. Like, I need to do, like, you didn't tell me that you were going to do it.
That's
like
good.
I had on my calendar, God said on my calendar for you 2 years from now, and you're saying that you're out of the loop and you're depressed and you sad because you didn't get it now.
Yeah.
Like, why did you? And he's like, that was never the plan for you.
You should have God's blessing in all things that you do. Yeah.
Of course, and that's what a man should have. You don't rush a plant to grow. You don't say it had to be this tall or had to be this bloom by this time.
Yeah.
It's going to do it when it want to do it, and nobody shuns it away or saying that it just doing its own thing when it takes its own time. So that's what you gotta look at it as. So, like, the season going to change, and you feel like nothing moving, but the whole world changed in the every year, everything different every single year, and yet we feel that we are staying in the same spot, and it's not the case. And it's just really, and it's so. But with vision, it's literally open your third eye type of situation. Understand that time and progressing of it and goals are a thing that you can really never understand until your time is up. But like, I've rushed these points in time, and I shouldn't have. I should have enjoyed these points in time, or I should have that time to myself. I really should have focused on myself instead of looking for this person or being like said. And that's again, a lot of people say that in hindsight, as in, I was single for this long and I found my husband when I was like 40 years old. But in that, again, Tracy Ellis Ross, she loved herself, as in she realized that whatever happens for me is going to happen for me. And you see that in such older single people, but yet the younger generation don't believe them. Oh, you're miserable old. They're telling you, people who understand that things grow at their own pace.
And you know what I think that speaks to? I think that what that speaks to is really needing to have a confidence that's rooted. Because what happens is people feel frustrated by those timelines or are motivated by those timelines because, like, the world said this should be happening for me. The societal benchmark is right here. At 21, I should be doing this. At 22, I should be graduating from college. I shouldn't take more than 4 years to complete my degree. And then I need a job. I need a corporate job. And then I should be able to retire at 50. But until then, I should be having kids and be married at least by 30. And when you start doing all of that, or you subscribe to those timelines and those timelines don't work out for you, what it really depends on is you just having a confidence to be still and to be okay with whatever unknown timeline God has for you.
Of course, and that's what it comes down to. Like I said, so that's what vision is to me. As in having a vision for yourself, knowing that where you want to be, and seeing that and putting in the work and do it at the same time. At the same time, don't skip steps. Do the work. And let whatever falls in your lap, because it will come to you so like incredibly, like where did this come from? All I was doing without what I was supposed to do for this long, and this big door open for me.
Yeah.
So like that's the vision that I have, that a man should have. Like I said, life is long. It's a very long thing. So you say life is short, but it's the longest thing you can do. You can't do anything longer than live your life. So yeah.
That was a great answer. That was a powerful answer. And I think the only thing that I would close that out with is, as you said, God is the only thing that God isn't making more of is time. So just use your time wisely.
Exactly.
Just use your time wisely. Terrence, this has been an extraordinary time spent with you. Last question as we close out our series, our chapter discussion on the dutiful shift of now. I must ask you, I love men. I love their philosophies. I love the natural strength that they have. I love their intelligence. I love that they're leaders. I see on your jacket you're sporting one of the world's greatest leaders that we've ever seen, Malcolm X. And y'all see. That said, I often wonder about what goes on with how you guys perceive yourself. So what I must ask you is, how much of your identity, Terrence, as a man is tied to the work that you do?
It's a complicated answer. I don't know. It's more of an art to me instead of work, because it's like I said, I created it, and whatever people come to me, an idea, I have to create it. I have to create a room for them or an environment for them. So I create, and so that is me though. That's who I am. That's who they hire. That's who they come to be. They come to me. So the person who come to me as in want to be my friend, and the person who want to come to me as in want pictures from me, they're one and the same, because they still trying to they still wanted to be. They wanted to know me as a person. So there's not a real split between them, because that's who I am. And with photography, I can't, like I said, that's what I see. I can't turn off my eyes. There's not a picture that you can put in front of me and be like, all the pictures that I took over my lifespan, I could tell you that's my picture. As in, I took, like, and that's a very, and any photographer can do that. As in, it's a craft that you see the image. You may take a wedding, whatever, take 5,000 pictures, and 10 years later, you might say, what about this picture? Like, I took that day. I don't know the time period. I know I took it. And so, not because it was part of my job, because I was there. I can't, so, and that's hard. They can't give and take, as in my job is where I'm at. There's no, again, a job may be selling something, so you may see a product and so I don't know where the product going to go. I don't know who's going to affect. I don't know what it's going to touch. So that where you'd be like, well, my job was just to sell it, and that was the end of my job. So, and that's where my job is. My job is to do this, and that's it. What my job is to capture an image, create an idea, not create an idea, create a visual, and then give that to you. And like I said, but that visual isn't just the visual itself. It's a compilation of a whole bunch of different ideas and different concepts together of my mind, my thoughts. So so they're very much one and the same. And believe me, I try to pull them apart sometimes, and stop trying to think about photography. So stop going somewhere, seeing something pretty, and like, let me take a picture of it, or let me try to remember it. Like, no, just take it, remember it, because that's your memory now. And only you, and only your memory. You don't need to share it. You don't need to take a picture of it to share it with somebody else. No, it's yours. And so again, if I was on a job, I would take it, sell it to somebody, take a picture of it, and sell it to somebody who wanted it or something like that, or just post it on Instagram or Snapchat. Look at this cool thing that I'm looking at right now. But then there's sometimes, and that's a hard part at the end. some people, like, again, most people were like, well, I'm just trying to relive the memories later on in life. And that's the hard part too, as in, when we go to achievement for people in my, like, friends and family, say, where your camera at? I'm like, what I'm taking in right now is myself. This is for me.
Oh,
So
okay.
and so whatever said, whatever seen, whatever funny, happy or sad, is that I would love to capture it with my job, my camera, and my tools, but that's what I cannot do. I have to have something for myself.
Absolutely.
It had to be images in my head or places in my head that are for me and me alone.
I love that.
So yeah,
the fact that you create that safe space for you, Terrence, the person.
Of course, and that's the best way to sum it up. As in, it goes back to my legacy. You see what I see, but there's some thing that only I want to see, and that's the things in life that makes me me. The things that only I've seen. That makes I'm only a compilation of my experiences, things I've seen, things I felt. And some people were like, well, you capture all of that so you can tell people stories. I'm like, no, that's for me to know. And that's for those are things that I need to take with me onto the next life.
Yeah.
Like, and that's it. That's the end of it. Like, all for everything else, you can look at. You can see the pictures of it. Everything, but anything mentally and spiritually, that's for me and only. Yeah. So that's it. Ended. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
No, that was a great answer. That was powerful, and you often hear celebrities talk about it. How sometimes it can be hard to separate the celebrity from the person. And what I'm hearing you say is, you really do inhabit yourself inside of your work. And sometimes it really is hard to separate the two because so much of you is the photography. But it's important to have that safe space.
Of course.
Powerful answer. Even as you go back to legacy, and people will see what you see for years to come. That feeds right into what we're talking about on this show, Life, Tradition, Legacy. Terrence, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for sharing your gift. What a powerful, beautiful gift. What an investment in legacy and tradition. Terrence, where can people book with you? Where can they book with the best photographer that there is around?
Okay, you can go to my website at Terrence Humphrey Photo, PHOTO.com. You can follow me on Instagram at T_hump HUMP_Q. And that's me on all social medias. Yes.
Yeah. Make sure you follow him, guys. I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed by his work. Thank you so much for tuning in to the episode, The Dutiful Shift of Now. I pray and I hope that you are encouraged to unlock and just redeem the highest generational blessings that God has for you and your family. Be encouraged, even in your valleys. Never quit. Have a vision and be willing to do the work. I am Lanisha Porter, your host and the creator of Life Lessons and Lattes, and I hope to see you back for next episode next Thursday at 8 p.m. God bless you.